get them forfeited to the state, and then we have to send notice to the state and wait for them to give us permission to go ahead and sell, and then, so the longer that takes, it pushes our sale back further.
So what happens if you have an out-of-state landowner, when you say the sheriff's got to serve papers? He doesn't
If he
drive
can't
to-
find someone,
Yeah,
he posts it on the building. He makes 2 or 3 attempts to
I mean,
see
if
the
you got someone
person
living in
or
California that owns something here and says, I'm not gonna pay it, he doesn't drive to California or have a sheriff's department in California serve papers.
And if that's a rental, he can serve them to the person living in the building. But some places don't have buildings, so you drive a stake in the ground and post it there on that stake. That's why we have to do it 4 different ways, because they figure
Should catch it.
in one way, shape, or form, they should find out.
All right.
And we
anything
did
else?
have a success story last week.
Let's hear it.
Years ago, the county had that house at the end of the Wimmer Homes, and then we sold it to the church, and then the church sold it to Earl and Shirley Finch, and they lived there for a number of years. Well, then they had an auction sale, sold their property, and it has never gotten taken out of their name. And we have contacted through the city of Ada, found out, and through the auctioneer, found out who had purchased this property. Well, it's ready for forfeiture. And I had sent them a courtesy letter a couple years ago, and last year I had sent them one, and they were up here and they were gonna pay the taxes, and they thought we could just put it in their name, and I said, well, you can pay the taxes, but that's not gonna put it in your name, you've gotta have a legal document. Well, this year, they were up for forfeiture. We really had no legal reason to contact them, but we sent them information, and they came in last week with $2,000 some in cash to pay the taxes. And actually brought with paperwork to get it put into their name.
It's a good thing.
So we went above and beyond, but we had success.
You scared them, Donna. You scared them.
Well, I think they knew that in
Yeah.
the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping, okay, if they don't buy it, we acquire the property, we have a heated shop,
Yep.
Kelly can use it for his equipment, and,
Yeah, that's a nice shop.
I mean, I wouldn't say we would want to
Move it.
have the house or anything, that would be quite an undertaking, but it's out of our hands now, so collected the taxes, and that was good.
Maybe a 2-minute report on Wimmer Homes. How are we doing there? Are we full?
We are full, have been full. I have one gentleman that if he doesn't come in before the 1st of June, I am going to send him an eviction notice. I have been holding his hand way too long. And if it isn't on one front, it's on a different front, and it's just too much.
Otherwise, everything's going pretty good. All the new heating systems are working fine, no complaints.
Well, we had some complaints over the winter, and we had to have them come back and install some of the thermostats that they said they had installed, and I said, this is not a new thermostat, so let's get the new thermostat in that was in the agreement.
But all working now, and
We've had some complaints from some of the tenants that they are so noisy compared to the old ones. But
What else can you do?
my new furnace at home, well, it's relatively new, it's noisy too. They don't make them like they used to.
More efficient. They go
All right, well, thank you for the report. Sounds like you've been busy.
Extremely.
Galen, are you on the agenda or you just?
I'm here for the 11 o'clock item.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yep.
Well, it's not quite 10:30, but Gary, come on up.
Okay.
You've got some
Got a
items
lot
here you
of
wanna
business.
Yeah.
discuss?
Summarize everything on my list.
He covers
We're
it
done?
fast. You cover
I
it
do
fast.
cover it fast. I'll try
We're
to cover
done.
this one fast, since I don't have a lot
Oh,
of
wait a
time.
minute here. Donna said she wasn't done. I thought you were done.
Oh,
You got 5 minutes, 4 minutes.
We have also collected a bunch of ditch assessments that we have to, they don't go on tax statements. We have to prepare invoices and send out to the townships, cities, watershed, utility companies, different things. So we've collected 40,000 of that. Collected some mineral rights, got some delinquent mineral rights collected.
Those ditch assessments, are they all pretty much in the black now across the board, do you know?
Are all the ditches in the black?
Yeah,
No.
I got trail, right one.
But hopefully by the end of the year, we will be.
all depending on if there's any
Yeah.
unusual activity.
There might be that one that I warned you guys about last year when you made the agreement that it was gonna send it in the hole and you didn't wanna levy quite enough, I didn't think, so there might be that one in the hole.
Who was pointing at Marv?
Think so?
No, I'm just pointing at the board. Cause the 5 of you make that decision.
My ditches are all in the black, I'll have you know.
All three of them,
So
yeah.
is Commissioner Hall.
Yeah, Commissioner Hall.
Huh?
My ditches are in the black.
Yeah, I didn't care. All right, what else you got? I'm cutting into your time here.
And we've processed mortgages and deeds in that time, and our election training also went well. And I just had a phone call this morning, they're coming on the either late on the 23rd or early on the 24th to pick up our old equipment. And then the following week, our new equipment, well, day after Memorial Day, our new equipment should come.
So,
Still
When
collecting
is the-
some from outlying townships.
when is the primary?
September.
August.
August.
Did I said that was September.
Primaries in August.
Coming quick.
Okay.
And at election training, we had some discussion on the 2020 presidential election,
Really?
which, harebrained idea. We are going to have people not knowing what they're doing because you have to request, when you come into your precinct, you're going to have to request which party you want.
Fast. That bunch of BS.
And mail ballot precincts, we are going to send them both, but they can only return one. It's going to cost the state so much money.
Do you know what
Besides
Donna
that,
did?
they're doing it in March, and your township election is, at this point, they have it slated for the first Tuesday in March. The second Tuesday in March is the township election, and I honestly don't think the state is gonna have rosters ready, because you're gonna have new registrants, maybe not with the primary, presidential primary. Maybe people won't want to pick a party, so they'll just stay away. But if you have new registrants, they should be in the system to be on the roster for the township election, and there's not time to get that all input and then printed new rosters. I think they need to rethink. But
All right, anything else?
no,
All right, thank you for the report. Sounds like you've been busy, All right, Gary, you're up, 10:30.
Speaking of busy,
I like to stay on schedule.
You haven't been doing anything?
I always get these comments on the side. I put on here landfill update, cause there is some updates. Since Steve and I were down at the AMC Legislative Conference where we had lively discussion on landfills. Steve was in his MRC meeting and it got interesting, and then Steve and I met with the legislators down there, and one of the things the legislators told me as we were exiting the door is keep in touch. So, since then, the legislators got us on a conference call, not that long ago. So it was PCA, Eakin, Marquardt, head of the commissioner of the PCA, assistant commissioners, Steve, Bommersbach, myself, Visser, Wink, and we had a lively discussion about the landfill. And the bottom line was that Marquardt wants something done. And Stein, commissioner of the PCA, wants something done. In other words, they want this permit written. Whether you like it or not, they want it done, period. And it was, Steve can attest, but it was pretty interesting questions back and forth. So since then, to keep you updated, we had an on-site last week. So the head of the solid waste, Benke, and his assistant, Monolock, along with the new hydrologist, and Wenk, Visser, myself, Steve, were on site and met with these people. And a lot of discussion was had, and this new hydro came in there with new ideas, and we just weren't having anything about it. And we basically left the meeting, and Steve left the meeting by the head of the PCA Solid Waste Division saying you're gonna get your permit. Not sure when that is, but we're hoping soon. I've had a recent call from the PCA, and until I get that material mailed to me, I have nothing to share with you on that call that I got yesterday, but wheels are in motion.
Cover they want.
I think they're gonna be happy with the way we're doing it right now. And they might stick with groundwater instead of surface water, meaning we've got all those readings already.
I think they're talking just a little better slopes,
We've been out there and done this before.
good grass vegetation.
Haven't we ever?
I think they'd like to take the day off and go out there.
Well, I know we found out that one of them has a lake place in Perham, so they like to, but anyways, they know what's at stake here. It goes all the way to the top, with the exclusion of Dayton. I think maybe he's had an earful of it, but meantime, I can tell you there's a lot of moving parts at the legislature because there's legislation being written that allows the counties to use old powers that were back in the day where the counties would write the permits for the landfills. But I don't know if they're getting any traction on it, but they're certainly pushing it. But that was my update. I wanted to just bring you up to speed that not only do we have a conference call, we also were on site. And we'll keep you updated as this goes along. So if you have anything else to add, Steve?
No, I just, you know, it's a big issue across the state, it's not just us, there's, I don't know, what is it, like 60 counties fighting these similar issues, and I think we try to differentiate our landfill versus metro and some of the different issues that we don't have that they may have at these other landfills and stuff, so.
Another piece of good news is that Brown County got issued their permit last week. So if we get the letter from the PCA saying we're gonna go to the next step, that means we have to put it up for public notice. And I think it's 30 days, and I was told that you don't get a whole lot of comments, but you'll get some. And then once that hits, then there's a little bit of time frame in there, that's when the PCA rates your permit. But until then, I'll keep you updated.
I felt bad for the engineer there, the guy that told you last time that you were gonna get a permit, he had to basically admit to it on site that he had indicated that, you know, a year ago that they were gonna issue the permit. He didn't feel very comfortable being confronted with that information.
Right in front of his bosses, he had to admit that. And then he also admitted on site that, you know, with that former hydro, your permit was written as far as we were concerned. Yours was out the door. So somebody above him held it out. But anyways, website update, I can tell you, if you get into the Norman County website now, into my environmental services page, it's all different. The narratives are all different.
Are you gonna show us an example up there?
It's out with you, we can't yet, I will though. I bet you next meeting I'll have something for you.
Alright.
Out with the old, in with the new, but I'm gonna add photos and a few more ordinances that you can link into. right now, it's got a lot of good stuff, and you can thank Amy, Public Health. I did the narratives, but she put all this on there, so just recently we had the MCIT meeting. It's mandatory, but some couldn't make it. Well, all that information's on there now. So they can click on the website, look at all the presentations. So it's pretty cool on that. So you can check it out, but yeah, we'll do a demonstration up here in the next couple of meetings I'm at. MCIT training, I had Deb in here, training the two groups. And then she took a tour with Kelly and I, and our list was about a third of what it was last time. And I think on our list, a lot of that was corrected as we toured. So there were simple things. But again, you know, if OSHA walks in and says, why is this and why is that, you know, that's not a good thing. So we wanna make sure we're on top of keeping that, you know, up to speed and learning why we can't do certain things.
Gary, did you tell them about we needed the electric exit sign here?
At night.
Okay.
I've got the sheet, I wanna get some of that stuff corrected, or at least get onto that path. But that's one example, is